I'm 73 years old. Some of you might remember me from a video I shared a few weeks ago. I never expected the response it received. The messages, the comments. Thank you. Truly. But today, I need to talk about something I didn't say then. Something more personal. Something that changed how I understand love, marriage, and time itself. And I need you to hear this, because what I'm about to tell you could save you from a kind of regret that never really goes away. My wife, Susan, and I were married for 41 years. 41. That's longer than many of you have been alive. And for most of that time, I believed we had a good marriage. Not perfect, but solid, stable, the kind people admire from the outside. But here's the truth nobody warns you about. You can live with someone for decades and still never truly know them. You can share a bed, a house, a life, and still be strangers where it matters most. Susan died 6 years ago. Pancreatic cancer, diagnosed in March. Gone by July. 4 months. And in her final weeks, lying in that hospice bed, she said something that replays in my mind every single day. She looked at me and said, "George, we wasted so much time being right instead of being close." At first, I didn't understand. I got defensive. We had a good marriage, didn't we? We didn't fight much. We were dependable. We built a life together. But that was the problem. We were comfortable. And comfortable is not the same as connected. For years, Susan suggested small things. Let's take a pottery class together. Why don't we go dancing anymore? Remember when we used to stay up talking all night? And every time, I had a reason. Too tired, too busy, too impractical, too expensive. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I just thought we had time. I believed love was about the big things. Providing, being faithful, showing up during crises. I thought that was enough. It wasn't. Because love isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in the tiny, ordinary moments. The conversations over breakfast. The walks with no destination. The way you really listen when your partner talks. And slowly, so slowly I didn't even notice, I stopped doing those things. One missed conversation became many. One "not tonight" became a habit. One "we'll do it later" quietly turned into never. Susan adapted. She stopped asking me to dance, stopped suggesting classes, stopped reaching for deep conversations. She found her own friends, her own interests, her own life. We became polite roommates who happened to be married. And I told myself this was normal, that this is just what happens in long marriages. But comfort is just another word for complacency. When Susan got sick, everything changed. Suddenly, we had a deadline. All the things I thought we'd do someday now had an expiration date. And in those final months, we talked more honestly than we had in 20 years. She told me about dreams she'd buried, about hurts she carried silently, about feeling invisible in her own marriage. One night, about 3 weeks before she died, she told me about a trip she'd always wanted to take. Scotland. Her grandmother was from there. She'd dreamed of seeing the Highlands, walking through those villages, understanding where she came from. She had mentioned it to me many times over the years, and every time I dismissed it. Too expensive. Not a good time. Maybe when we retire. We never went. And now, we never would. She wasn't angry when she told me. That's what made it unbearable. She was just sad. I asked her why she never pushed harder, and she said, "I didn't want to make you do something you didn't want to do. I wanted you to want to do it with me." That sentence broke something in me, because she was right. The biggest threat to your relationship isn't cheating or fighting or some dramatic betrayal. It's indifference. It's the slow erosion that happens when you stop trying, when you stop asking questions, stop making effort, stop being curious. One day, you wake up next to a stranger. Or worse, they're gone, and you never truly knew them. After Susan died, I found her journal. Reading it felt like meeting a woman I had lived with but never fully seen. She wrote about loneliness, about screaming into silence, about moments that hurt her when I was physically present, but emotionally absent. She also wrote about hope, about the man she married, about waiting for him to come back.